Welcome back, everybody. In this video we're going to go over removing all this rust off this Mini 14 and polishing out back to a factory finish. This will be a two-part series, so make sure you check in tomorrow for the final bluing of this gun, or look up part 2. This one's a Mini 14 that has some rust issues. Customer's not looking for a big restoration, but all the rust is on the front of the barrel, this block. So we're going to focus on those areas. We'll get it taken apart, see if it's anywhere else, see if we can't get this thing looking better again. Alright, so we got the barrel all stripped down. As you can see, the rust is pretty much isolated to the exposed part of this barrel. Everything else has just regular general wear and the gas block. And the screws. So the gas block is just a bead blasted finish. So first thing I'm going to do is bead blast it, and then we'll see where these pits go. And if they're deep, we might have to polish those pits out with the wheels and then bead blast it again afterwards to give it that matte finish back. And the barrel, we're going to have to do a bit of work on that, but let's go ahead and bead blast that as well. We're going to give it a quick polish on the 150 grit wheel to see where the major pits are that we're going to have to remove. So a couple of points about polishing on these wheels. 150 grit can be very aggressive. So we're not pushing on the wheel, we're letting the wheel do the work. That way we don't dish out any sections in the barrel. Also, you notice that I polish at an angle for two reasons. It gives more contact to the wheel surface of the barrel, so you're less chance of digging into the steel. And also when you change grits, when I go to the next finer grit, I'll change the angle to the other direction, and in doing that you can tell if you've polished out all the grit marks from the heavier grit wheel. That way you know you're not blending multiple grit depths in with this polished finish. So the 150 grit wheel was able to get all the pitting out, so I was pretty happy with that. Now we're going to go to the 220 grit wheel, remove the marks from the 150 grit wheel, and then we'll compare that finish to what is on the rest of this gun. Looks to me like Ruger only polished the flats on the back The rest of this is as cast, and this front sight is as cast. So we might stop at the 220 grit wheel, but we'll see how it looks. So, for those of you that are paying attention, I just told you that we change angles whenever we change buffing wheel sizes or grits, and I didn't do that. So we went around once. Now we're gonna change the angle. It doesn't hurt anything. It just means you got to do it again in the other angle till you get rid of all the scratches going this way. So we're gonna do that again, but it's looking pretty good. All right, I'm pretty pleased with that finish. All the pits are out. The finish is very similar to the grit marks, actually a little finer than the grit marks that they used originally on there. And I like it. So I think we're gonna keep it at the 220 grit wheel. So for my buffing setup, I use both Baldor and Grizzly buffers with 8-inch. These are loose muslin wheels. Sometimes people use a stitched muslin and a loose muslin. The stitched muslin can be more aggressive for removing pits. I tend to draw file mine and just stay with loose muslin wheels. And this is Brownell's polish array that I use to put on here. In a different video, we'll go over loading these wheels up and how I go about that. Here's your polished barrel. I am going to leave this bead blasted. It'll match the way it was originally. And I'm going to mask off beside this front sight, and I'm going to bead blast the front sight so we'll have that matte finish to match the gas block and the sides of the receiver. So I have to think about it for a little bit, not very long. Decided I wanted to go ahead and bead blast this. We'll polish the flat, which is the way Ruger had it originally. We'll do that with the rest. All right, there we are, all polished. Went back and bead blasted the rest of the gun, mostly for cleaning purposes, and re-polished the flats just gently. This flat looks a little rough, but that's actually the polishing marks from Ruger. that laser etch Ruger symbol will be too easy to wipe off if we try getting aggressive at all to remove those, so we'll leave that in. And same with the bolt. As we go over gluing the rifle. You know the saying, let sleeping dogs die. Oh, she's not sleeping.